There we go. Good evening. It's 5:30. It's time for our June Quorum Court meeting. If all stand for a moment of silence, we'll get Miss Lisa to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I know.
Clerk, call roll.
Davis,
Yes.
Hedge. Here. Frank,
Here.
Griffin.
Here.
House. Here. McDonald.
Here.
Nalt.
Here.
Payne.
Here.
Steiner.
Here.
Waldrop.
Here.
Walker. Here. The quorum said.
All right, if everybody's had a chance to look over the minutes from the previous meeting, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Ms. Shannon. Second by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Janae, you have the treasurer's report?
Good evening. Did everybody get a chance to look at their reports this afternoon?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, it was a little late getting them put up there. Sales tax this year, last month, compared to this last month a year ago, is at 4.7%. And the amount about $25,000 for the county side, $11,000 for the sheriff's, the jail fund. Year to date, it's up 6.3%, or $154,000 on the county side, $67,000 on the jail tax, and projections are up 4.4% and 3.7%. Any questions? Thank you all.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, we had a committee meeting prior to this meeting here, so Cameron, you got a report on that meeting?
Yes, sir. Baxter County Economic Development Committee met today at 4:30. All of the members were there. We listened to a discussion and brought about by the support of this issue 3, which is going to create some opportunities for economic development in the state and how that fits with what we'd like to see done. And Mr. Waldrop is going to continue to monitor that, be in touch with that, and get back to us as things progress and help us out, keep us informed with that issue and how it fits with what we want to see done in the county. Then we listened to a gentleman that brought us some concerns and issues with the some things he wants to do out at the Midway area with the some of the property there, and nothing concrete, just some general ideas of a direction, and Ms. House is going to follow up on that with him and then get back with the committee about any direction we need to go with that. We adjourned about 5:20.
Thank you. Any questions for Cameron on our Economic Development Committee meeting? All right. Mr. Taylor Carmichael's got a presentation from the director of the airport.
Good evening. I'm going to provide you with some updates on the projects and events that are happening out at the airport. So, despite recent rain delays, the new 80x60 hangar remains on track. They were out there pouring the footings today, so hopefully we'll have a good weather window next week and they'll be able to pour the foundation for that building. The new 6-bay hangar project is also progressing as planned. Construction is beginning in July and the building is expected by the end of the month. Also, that 80x60, we're expecting that building to arrive in the next few weeks on that one. So, we've submitted our taxiway grant application to the FAA and are currently awaiting the grant offer. That's you get awarded, you turn in the application, and then you get a grant offer. So that's what we're waiting on with that. The airport continues to experience strong demand for hangar space and increasing interest from aircraft owners and aviation businesses. That growth is being recognized by the state as the Arkansas Division of Aeronautics and RDOT have selected Baxter County Airport for a site visit as part of the 2026 statewide aviation economic impact study to help document the airport's contribution to the regional economy. Community involvements remain a priority with us. This Saturday, EAA Chapter 775 will host a Young Eagles rally, and all those available flight slots are fully booked. A barbecue benefit for the Tyler family will follow the event, and everyone is welcome to attend that. Looking ahead, we are excited to host the inaugural Crosswind Classic on August 29th. We expect a strong turnout and a full day of activities designed to have something for everyone. Treats on the tarmac is going to be for a couple hours on October 31st, and really that's just to provide a safe and family-friendly environment where children can explore aircraft, meet pilots, and fill their bags full of treats, so that's going to be fun. Overall, the airport continues to build momentum, and that's pretty much the sum of things. So, does anybody have any questions?
Got a private hangar going up out there. You might mention that if anybody's, I know if anybody's drove by there, they've seen it for sure. So.
Yep. So that private hangar is 100 by 100, and we do have interest for more private builds, so we'll see if they'll actually come into plan. So.
Thank you.
Any
Thank you.
questions?
Yeah.
Private.
Hey, Taylor, I had friends flew in a couple weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
I was talking to you, and I just want to pass along to you that the comments they made about our airport, they were pretty impressed with the facility we have here, with the service they got down there at Bayard, and then we kind of roamed around and just looking around at the hangar spaces, and it's pretty impressive, and that's always nice to hear from outsiders.
Oh yeah.
And then when we flew up there to their place, they're up in Moline, Illinois. It's the first time I've been to that airport in many years, and yeah, we have far outpaced those guys in what we're doing. So it's just nice to hear, and I wanted to pass that along to you and your staff out there at the airport. Just good job. We're pretty proud of what y'all are doing out there.
Well, thank you. And if they're interested in basing their aircraft with us, we'll be more than happy to accept them. So.
I wish they would. That way I can get a chance to fly it more.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we keep getting money, we're going to keep building. So.
Yeah. It was.
Any other questions? Taylor, I guess not. He's ready to sit down. With that, we'll get into new business. First item is sponsored by Mr. Bob, is an ordinance appropriating fees in the sheriff's office.
Appropriation ordinance number 2026-blank, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Baxter County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance appropriating fees and reimbursements in the amount of $18,660 received in the month of April to the Sheriff's Office 2026 budget.
Heard the reading. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bob,
Second.
second by Ms. Mary Ann. Any questions? Clerk call roll.
Davis?
Yes.
Edge?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
House?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Nault?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Steiner?
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
With a vote of 11 yea, 0 nay, appropriation ordinance number 2026-23 is adopted.
The second item is sponsored by Mr. Bob, is an ordinance appropriating funds in the building and grounds budget.
Appropriation ordinance number 2026-blank, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Baxter County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance appropriating funds in the amount of $7,248 from County General Fund number 1000 into Building and Grounds 2026 budget.
Heard the reading. Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Bob,
Second.
second by Mr. Eddie. Any questions? Clerk call roll.
Edge?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
House?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Nault?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Steiner?
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
With a vote of 11 yea, 0 nay, appropriation ordinance number 2026-24 is adopted.
Item number 3, sponsored by the Budget Committee, is an ordinance renaming an aviation reserve fund to the aviation fund.
Appropriation ordinance number 2026-blank, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Baxter County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance renaming the Aviation Reserve Fund number 1803 to the Aviation Fund number 1803, and to appropriate funds in the amount of $46,000 into the Aviation Fund 2026 budget.
You've heard the reading. Do we have a motion? Motion by
Second.
Mr. Cameron,
Second.
second by Mr. Dennis. That will start with the sheriff.
Okay. Thank you. Well, I've got 6 more quorum court meetings after tonight. And so this particular ordinance was supposed to have been on last month's quorum court meeting, but I had a meeting with Sheriff-elect Mark Hollingsworth, and if I call him Mark, I apologize. I've just known him too many years. No disrespect intended. But after meeting with him, he asked if I would consider putting this off till this month so he would have a chance to attend. We had a great discussion about what we're trying to do, and he, at that point, said he didn't have an issue, but if he had any issue with it all, he would certainly get in touch with me. And since he is not, I'm at least going to assume that that's still true, okay? I mentioned that I had 6 more quorum court meetings to go, and the reason I mentioned that is because, as the saying goes, I'm a lame duck, which means I could just coast this out, ride out the next 7 months, and retire off into the sunset. But for you that know me, know that's not me. In fact, I care too much about the sheriff's office in this county to do that. We've got 6 major projects that we're going to get done before the end of this year. And the reason for it is because, number 1, they need to be done, but number 2, I don't want to leave that for the next sheriff to face when he walks in the door. Number 1, you all approved last month to fix the retaining wall where it's all fallen down next door. That's a disaster waiting to happen. You all have funded that, and work will begin not too long after that. Number 2, the front office, when you walk in the front door of the sheriff's office, it is a very extreme safety hazard. We've had several incidents where potentially could have turned bad. So we've already done about half of that remodel, and we're going to start the second half of that remodel shortly, which will improve the efficiency of the office, but also the safety for the secretarial staff and everybody in there. That funding was actually provided by the Sheriff's Foundation. So they're the one that provided that funding. Number 3 is our shooting range, which is the old quarry. We're in the process of upgrading, putting lights up. There will be moving targets. There will be camera systems, security systems. That'll be when we've already started that project. And again, that funding was all provided with the Sheriff's Foundation funding. Number 4 is a drone. And we're going to talk about helicopters, but a drone is an important tool, and we've been wanting to do that for some time. The problem is the expense, because both federal and state regulation says you can't buy certain drones if they've got parts made in China, et cetera, et cetera. So the cost more than doubles when you do that. Well, the Sheriff's Foundation stepped up and funded $26,000, and that drone is due to be shipped this week. So that will be a new addition to the Sheriff's Office. Number 5, and we've talked about this, canines. And while we've had 4 canines in the past, we've not had one in some time. But we, through the Sheriff's Foundation, they have funded, and so the canine, kennels, vehicles that's been outfitted, the kennels work has already been started. Canine hopefully will be ordered by the end of this month, and we'll get that project starting. And number 6 is what we're going to talk about tonight. The issue is about the helicopter. Now, the helicopter has been an extremely valuable asset to the Sheriff's Office and to Baxter County for many, many years. Actually, 42 years is how long it's been. The Sheriff's Aviation Helicopter was the very first law enforcement helicopter in the state of Arkansas, even before the state police. It has proven invaluable over the years, finding lost kids, dementia patients that wandered away, fugitives, escaped convicts, and even finding bodies in rivers and lakes where you might not necessarily been able to find them otherwise. We have 2 fully flyable helicopter in our aviation hangar. And by the way, that aviation hangar was built with a grant from the federal government. It's actually an airport. So for pilots, it's 42AR. If you type that in, that is the Baxter County Sheriff's Airport. And we got that grant funding, cost the county $14.5 in matching funds, and everything you see over there was done with federal funding. But those helicopters and about $250,000 worth of spare parts that we currently have is not owned by the county. We do not own those. The federal government owns those. And so As long as they're being used, that's fine. But when they no longer get to be used, then the federal government will pick them up. Well, we have a problem, and that's why I'm here tonight. Benny Magnus will be retiring as our pilot, and he's been a pilot for many years, and we've had a couple of other pilots over the years that's assisted him, but he's going to be retiring. I hope at the same time I do, if I can keep him, convince him to stay as long as I do. And we've been trying now for well over a year, trying to find a second pilot. And the bottom line of us, we've struck out. We don't pay our pilot. Well, actually, he gets paid $25 a year, but we don't pay a pilot. And then if you do pay a pilot, you're either going to have to put them on full time, or you're only going to get them when they're available to fly, which is not as when was needed. You know, every one of us has a certain amount of expertise. You know, I operate heavy equipment from time to time. Maybe not very good, but I do. But at the end of the day, I'm going to defer to you because you're the expert with heavy equipment. You know, I grew up on a farm as a kid, and we had cows. And you know, while I know a little bit about cattle, I would defer to you because you're the expert in that business. I've been a law enforcement officer for 38 years. I know a little bit about guns. But the truth is, I'm going to defer to you because you're the expert in guns. And what I would argue with you today is there is no one anywhere more qualified to talk about the Sheriff's Office Aviation Helicopter Fund and program than Benny Magnus. He's been with that program for 42 years. He knows the ins, the outs, the different aircraft. He has flown and volunteered no telling how many hours. And he knows everything there is inside and out. But I would also argue that there's probably the second person that knows the most about that helicopter program is myself. For almost 22 years, from getting the grants to the budget process to obtaining funds, securing spare parts, you name it, I've been involved in it for that long. So having said that, we have a problem. We're about to lose a pilot, and potentially, highly probable, we're going to lose our aircraft. And when they're gone, they're gone. And that program is much too valuable to take a chance and letting it walk out the door. About a year ago, Benny and I got to talking about how are we going to solve this problem. We can't find someone that's reliable, that has that expertise. And so the conclusion came, the best conclusion we could come up with was to actually take a deputy that was interested in aviation, send them to become trained as a helicopter pilot. Now, the analogy that I've heard, actually from more than one of you all here, it's kind of like giving a 16-year-old a driver's license. Okay, well, I've got a driver's license, but I don't know everything there is to know about driving. And that's why Benny has agreed to stay on and help take that pilot, licensed pilot, new deputy pilot, and continue that training on until they can become proficient in that helicopter. And I think that's extremely important. So having come to that conclusion, we reached out, contacted several aviation schools. We feel like there's one in Springdale, Arkansas is our best option for several reasons. Estimated cost is $25,000 to $30,000. In about 6 to 8 weeks, we'll have a licensed pilot. Our logical choice, and he's here with us, is Austin Morrison. Austin already is in support services. He already deals with a helicopter and parts and procuring parts, etc. That's part of his responsibility. He's been with the Sheriff's Office just almost 10 years total. He's not going anywhere. He's a local boy. But to protect the county, we've drawn up a contract. Roger Morgan drew up this contract. Austin's attorneys looked at it. We've looked at it. And basically, what that contract states is if he goes through this training and he leaves within 3 years, he's got to pay back the county for what they spent. And it's prorated. So if he leaves in the first year, he's got to pay $30,000 back. If he leaves in the second year, he's got to pay 20, third, 10, etc. If he gets fired for cause, he has to pay it back. If he leaves and goes into the private business, he's got to pay it back. If he goes to work for another law enforcement agency, he's got to pay it back. So we protected the county, if we're going to make this investment, in order to make sure that we can keep this program going. Now, where's the funding coming from? And that's what you see this reserve fund. So several of you will remember a few years ago, we had a car crash into a helicopter. I think you all remember that. And through a lot of negotiations and gnawing of the teeth, so to speak, we finally settled with the insurance company for $100,000. And this quorum court, and by the way, you're the 11th quorum court I've worked with in my career, quorum court put that money aside into an aviation reserve fund for emergencies or things that happen. And we had a major expense. We had to pull out roughly $10,000 or whatever it was to fix. It's earning interest, and currently that balance is somewhere in $92,000 and some change. That's not tax dollars, that's insurance money. Now, I will tell you, I'd be standing here, even if it was tax dollars, I would be lobbying and arguing that this is a very good expense of tax dollars, but it's not. It's insurance money. So what we're proposing to do is two things. We're going to take that aviation reserve fund and we're going to call it the aviation fund. And that budget line item that you all have been able to budget me year after year after year, which is $19,000. After this year, that one will go away and it will now all become just the one fund. So that's what I'm asking you all to do, is simply move $46,000 from that reserve fund into those line items you see listed on that ordinance. Any questions?
How much is left in that fund?
There's 92,000, so if we take roughly 46,000 and some change.
So if the training was, what did you say, 24,000?
25 to 30 is the estimated.
What's the other 16 for?
Okay, so what that's for is it's listed there. It's for fuel, it's for insurance, and it lists it right now in that budget line item. It just says helicopter. It says 19,000. Everything comes out of one line item. Fuel, maintenance, insurance, you name it. This will now be spelled out so that it'll be much more transparent exactly where those dollars are going. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. With that, I'll open up the questions for the audience to ask the court, or since you didn't have any for the sheriff, is there any from the audience for the court up here?
Yeah, actually, I've got several.
Well, I'm going to open up to the court in just a second. So if there's none from the audience, I'll open up to court. Dirk, you want to go first?
Yeah, I guess. I think it's optimistic for the amount of money to train a zero-time person to be a proficient pilot. I understand Mr. Magnus, with his decades and several thousand hours just in rotorcraft, can teach it, but to me, that's not the issue. The issue is the liability that this county is exposed to with this. With the understanding that, according to the FAA, that there's no licensing required. You can teach somebody to fly a helicopter and they got it. Unlike somebody like us, you'd have to have your instrument ratings and all this. There's a transition course for a piston engine single to transition into the turbines, which is basically just learning how to crank the engine and the care and maintenance of it. Once you get it in the air, it's going to behave the same. What concerns me outside of the liability and the insurance is if there is an incident or an accident and this helicopter goes down somewhere in a school, a park, a neighborhood, what is the county's liability? Given the fact that there are no certifications, and the way I understand it, Mr. Magnus, you're not a certified flight instructor, is that correct?
No, sir.
So, and that's not to impugn his skill or his work, but the way things are going to be looked at is this guy has no ratings. I'm worried about how the insurance company's going to look at it, for starters. And, you know, again, I'm not saying the deputy's not going to be capable of doing this. It's just a matter of time. I think the money is optimistic. I think the time is optimistic. My second concern is the maintenance. Who handles the maintenance right now on those aircraft? There's two on there. They're A models, correct?
Yeah, OH-58As, A+.
With the-
Right now, they're maintained by two different mechanics that are retired from Perryback,
Right.
and I've known them for many years.
And that's the
But they're
Rolls-Royce
retired-
200?
You what,
That's
sir?
the Rolls-Royce 200? The model, the engine is the Rolls-Royce, it's the
No, it's the
200?
250.
The 250s, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of agreement do we have with that for the maintenance? Because what's a hot section inspection cost on that?
Well,
Hey, Benny, if you don't care, step up there so everybody can hear you, because I know they're trying to listen to you and they can't hear you.
okay, the aviation unit now is on a 25-hour inspection. So every 25 hours, I call the mechanic, one of them. Right now, they retired from Airvac, but they take contract positions out of state. They're both from Willow Springs, Missouri, and they go sometimes Alaska for 60 days, and one might go to Florida, and they seem to, one of them always be available. But they come down, and one inspection is the motor, one inspection is the tail rotor, one is an inspection of the rotor hubs. And then the fourth is the aircraft as a whole. Now, you need to understand that that's 25 hours. It's not every time with the engine. It's when that 25 hours is up for the engine, that's when it's gone over.
Right.
So
After the engine is inspected, it's roughly a 100-hour inspection by the time the engine gets examined again.
well, it depends. It's a choice of the sheriff. There's other options you can take, like a 50-hour or annual, whichever comes first. The FAA, although they have no jurisdiction over law enforcement helicopter, they do go out and review our maintenance logs and everything every couple of years. And we just got an inspection with the FAA, went through our maintenance logs, and felt like everything was more than adequate, and we're doing a good job on the inspections. So, I know that at some point, like we all know, we're going to get a new sheriff. He may have some different desires on how to maintain the helicopter. And I do believe there's a day that our mechanics that are doing it now, that they may not be available as they always have been for me.
Right, they're doing this pro bono in effect right now, is that correct?
Pretty much.
So, again.
I don't know whether the last time Jason, Sheriff, did Jason give you a bill the last inspection?
We did a major function, and they spent several hours.
Yeah.
It's just that he gave me a bill for, which was probably a third of what it should have been.
Yeah.
Because I felt like that was fair.
Yeah, yeah, we had to take it, wasn't the transmission out and put it back in, had a leak in the transmission? I can remember for sure. So,
That's my secondary concern is the expense involved, and, because that'll burn through the remaining $35,000 in this aviation fund pretty quickly. Fuel is, close to $8 for 100 octane right now. Jet A is probably, a buck or so lower.
yeah.
But still, you're looking at a pretty significant expense just to keep fuel in this helicopter. And I'm wondering where this money's going to come from, because it's going to cost more than about $25,000 to $30,000, I'm guessing, to get a pilot trained and proficient. We're looking at around 50 hours in this, probably Robinson 44. Is that correct?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't file Robinson. I haven't flown a piston engine aircraft in 20 years, maybe 25. But I want to speak to one thing about being a low-time pilot. I want all of y'all to understand the most important thing for me is to have somebody hometown, somebody got ties to the sheriff's office. We've had too many come and go. Too many of them don't stay. I don't have, you gotta, and when I started, I had 60 hours flying for the sheriff's office. It's no different than what we're facing right now. At least they got me with experience. If Sheriff Hollingsworth, after the first year, wants me to help stay and keep him trained and keep him where he's capable of going on missions by himself. I would never recommend that that be the case, as he wasn't. But I can tell you that I started at 60 hours, no different than what we're doing right here. And the difference is I had to get my training on my own because there wasn't anybody to help me. I'm willing to help as long as this sheriff and that sheriff asked me to stay. Because the helicopter is too important, and like Sheriff Montgomery said, we were the first law enforcement helicopter in the state of Arkansas by 10 years. So we've done a lot of good for a lot of counties, and we need to keep it going. And I'm not going to be around forever. You know, we all have some, you know, I passed my flight physicals very well right now. I don't have any issues, you know. Even my eyesight, I thought I'd be getting where I couldn't, but I don't have any problems. So, any other questions, I'll be glad to ask them.
You can sit down there, Betty, but you may have to come back up.
If I can address the funding just for a second. So the helicopter budget, I think 2 years ago, it's whenever Mr. Magnus sold the oil company, was $18,000 a year. Well, we get inspected, the tanks get inspected every month. That rate went from $50 a month to $120 a month. And so we asked, I think it was 2 years ago, to increase the budget from $18,000 to $19,000. In 22 years, and I believe this to be a true statement, we've gone over budget twice out of that money. So, Durkin, your question, there is no crystal ball, there's no guarantee, there's no whatever. But with all of the spare parts, and there's about probably $250,000 worth of spare parts there. The fuel, and we've had issues where fuel has spiked in the past. With the fuel, maintenance, all of that, in fact, we've gone over budget twice in 22 years.
That's with pro bono maintenance.
And we may or may not continue that.
And that's my concern, is that,
It's not always been pro bono.
No, not always.
Not always. What Airback Company does, they actually charge a nominal fee. But these two guys have been doing it that's retired, because Airback's gotten so big, they're not interested in help. So these guys have been doing the same thing because there's no money.
Well, and so the point being, and I'm going to go back, Lisa, when you asked how much was left. So here's, and I'm saying my proposal in the future, because obviously the Quorum Court would have to approve this. So again, you look at the line items, all these goes into these line items, the new fund. After this year's over, the original 19,000 budget, we're not going to do that anymore. What we're going to ask is that same 19,000 be put back into this new line item. So you're still appropriating the same amount of money every year. This last year we turned back $2,500, I think, into the aviation fund. That would have, now it's gone, I mean, because we used it county, cleaned up in county general, but that $2,500, if it was not spent, would go back into this line item to continue to grow. If we had an expense, something happened, certainly we may have to dip into it. But we're talking about some unknowns, sure, but we've had some unknowns for 42 years, and we've been able to continue this program and do a lot of good.
I agree with that. We've also had help on the maintenance, and you talk about, let's be liberal and say $500,000 worth of parts. That will maybe buy a replacement engine. I understand there's all kinds of parts, but you got to pay a technician to put all that stuff in. Everything in aviation is expensive. You can take a spark plug, like in a Piper Saratoga I had 12 of them, and they were about 75 bucks a pop. You know, so everything is expensive. Anything that you budget for, you can at least double it. I mean, I think it was $5,000 rolling in every summer for the annual starting, and then it went up from there. That's my concern, Sheriff, is I understand we have spare parts, but the maintenance support that we've enjoyed over the decades, it appears that it's not going to be there like we thought it was going to be. And the money that we have in this fund, you know, $19,000, $20,000, not even going to scratch the surface when this thing needs a hot section, it needs a turbine inspection, fuel control unit. I mean, you're looking $25,000, $30,000 just for a technician to take a look at it, plus parts. That's just the labor. These things are expensive, and that's my concern. Not just liability for an accident or an incident, but also the financial liability that this county is going to be exposed to.
Okay, so here would be my response. And again, we talked on the phone at length, and so we're having the same discussion we've had, but for everybody else. So let's just say, let's call it worst case scenario. Let's just assume for a moment that hopefully that you'll vote this into effect. And we enjoy free labor, if you will, or close to it. I say close to it, for the next year or 2 or 3, okay? Because I feel reasonably confident. No guarantees, but I feel reasonably confident. And so let's say year 3, 4, 5, all of a sudden that goes away. And that fund, even though we keep putting money back, we turn money back, that fund gets to the point where we have to hire a mechanic. At that time, if that's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road, let's just say, and we've got 3 engines, by the way, sitting in a crate, and 3 transmissions, and they all got time on them. So those are your big expenses. Your rotor blades are about $30,000 a piece, and I think we've got 3 spare sets. 3 spare sets. So if that happens, at that time, that quorum court can make the decision, you know what, we just can't fund it. But do we lose the program and potentially lose the helicopter because we don't have a pilot? And that's my point. We don't have a crystal ball, but everything is pointing in favor, in my opinion, and in Benny's opinion, and I'm going to go back to what I said before. I don't believe there's any 2 more people qualified to talk about this program than he or I. So do we throw it away? And I say tonight, I mean not necessarily tonight. Do you throw it away for a what if might happen 4 or 5 years down the road? You can cross that bridge when it happens. Thank you.
You said you looked
Any other
for a
questions or
pilot?
comments from this side of the court? Okay, I'll let you finish up real quick, Dirk. Go ahead. Dirk.
Oh, I'm curious, Sheriff Collingsworth, your thoughts on this. This is something you're going to inherit, whether you want to inherit it or not. And I'm just curious about your thoughts on it.
Well, I'll tell you, in short, I agree with everything John's talked about as far as the administrative part of maintaining this helicopter and the aviation program. And let me be very clear, I'm not against doing away, or I'm not for doing away with the aviation program. But my main concern is safety. You know, as John, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing it about 44 years. 12 of those were in special operations with the state police, where I spent a lot of time on and off a helicopter. That's a different type of flying that you do as a law enforcement officer in aviation. It's not like it's a different type of flying than they do at AirVac. They go point to point. This is kind of getting down low and slow with a law enforcement helicopter. And I know that because I've been on the manhunts with them and I've been in the aircraft with them. I also spent a lot of time around these same aircraft, 22 years in the military. And believe me, it's a different type of flying. And I'm strictly here to say I'm not for this appropriation going through because of the safety issue. Because I'm telling you, I'm not going to put a deputy out there on the highway that's not properly trained, properly equipped, and they're not going to be in a car that's going to be unsafe. And if I'm not going to do that, I'm certainly not going to put them in an aircraft with the liability that exists there. And some of the other things, there's some, not just the maintenance issues and the safety issues that kind of stand out to me. Because one thing I did, and John and I talked about this about a week after it was brought up in the last meeting, and I asked my suggestion, and my question was, is there any way we could put this off for about, till the next meeting, which is tonight? And that allowed me to get out and talk to some people that I've worked with over the years, and just that I felt would give me an objective, front look and say, yeah, Mark, it's either good to go or it's not. And I asked him, what do you think about this plan? And it's not about Austin. It's not about picking somebody out of the office. It's about how safe is it? How safe is that to do for us, not only for that pilot and that crew that's going to be out there, but also the citizens in this county? And every one of them, when we talked about it, they said, I think you're going to have a problem with the hours. I said, well, explain that to me, because I've flown on a lot of them, but I'm not the pilot. I've just spent a lot of time on them. And the response that I got was that, well, you're probably going to run into some issues on the insurance side, but just let's look at the training side, taking somebody from a gas-operated Robinson 44 and putting them into a turbine helicopter. They said there's a huge difference from going from that aircraft to the one that we have here in the county now. And not only that, there's a huge learning curve in that. And they're talking about the hours that they've had in these. And some of these people that I've talked to that I've flown with or been around in the aviation field for a number of years, and they said, we look at about 2,000 hours overall time, aviation time, on the insurance side of it. But an insurance company's probably not even going to insure a pilot if they don't have maybe 1,000 hours in that particular airframe or that OH-58. That concerns me too. And it's been, I've talked to a lot of people over the last 3 to 4 to 5 weeks about this, and believe me, I'm a huge advocate of this helicopter. I've seen it do some really good things, but I also think it's been just as much as an area asset as it has a county asset over the years. And when I look at the hours that they're going and they're flying, I don't know that if it's not time for us to take a walk, and maybe a step back and look at the entire program and get a good evaluation of it, because I'm going to do that regardless, whether I have to do it now or have to wait till January 1st. But, maybe it's time to stand back, because it seems like there's an urgency to get this done. I'm not in a hurry to put anybody in harm's way on that helicopter. And I'm going to tell you, if the vote's passed, and I support Sheriff Montgomery 110%, and he didn't get elected this last time to a 36-month term. He got elected to a 48-month term, or for 4 years he's going to be out there. Not 3 years, not 3.5. And he's responsible for making the decisions and doing what he thinks is right to move that department forward, until January 1st. But I'm going to tell you, folks, I've got some strong reservations about the safety end of this. And it's something that, if it goes forward tonight, I can't support that after January 1st. And I'm not going to. But I've got really strong concerns on that. And I've talked to Mr. Magnus as well. We met about a week ago and went over some things. It's not just the insurance and the training. The training is the big issue with me, because I think we're almost setting them up for failure. But the other part of it, we're talking about equipment needs and things like that. One of the most critical pieces of equipment on that helicopter is the FLIR. And it's my understanding from a conversation with Mr. Magnus, the FLIR's down, or as we say in law enforcement, it's 10-7. It's not working. It's not operable. That's another expense we may have to look at. Are there some of those available through the 1033 program? They may be. I don't know. I don't have access to that right now. But there's just a number of things I think it's a good time to sit back and evaluate it. But going forward with a pilot program like it is, and it's nothing with me in Austin, I want to keep that program if we can, but I'm going to keep it where it's safe and we're fiscally responsible moving forward with it. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you. No other questions or comments from this side of the court? Dennis?
I like Sheriff Montgomery. You guys said you about a year looking to experienced pilots. I mean,
Well over a
is
year,
it
and that's
is
Mr.
it a
Ragnus and I
salary
both.
thing? Is it? I mean, I can't believe there's not ex-military guys laying around.
I would
You
love
just
to
fly
tell you there are.
helicopters.
Mr. Magnus can certainly address that better than I can.
Okay.
But we have, well over a year, we have been looking and searching and talking with air-evac pilots who's not flying, and retired military and et cetera, and they're just not there. I will say, and this is probably not the time to say it, but I am disappointed in one thing. And that is, Mark, you gave me your word that if you had any issues with a helicopter whatsoever, you would contact me. And I reached out to you last Thursday, and you never said a word until tonight. It's the first time I've heard that you said you had any issues with this.
Sheriff, with all due respect, let's not go there.
Now, okay.
Okay.
So Here's the last thing. Again, if you vote this down, you vote it down. This has been nothing but a headache for me. I got a pilot till the end of the year. I don't have anything to gain personally. I have a problem. We have a problem. And we've come up with a way to solve this problem. Now, the sheriff of White County, Philip Miller, just met with him yesterday. He is an instructor, helicopter instructor, has offered to come up and work with Austin and fly with him. Benton County Sheriff has invited us to come over and send Austin over to work with them and train with them. We have more options than just Benny Magnus. But that's a very valuable asset. Now, as far as pushing this through, again, I was going to do it last month, but there's a lot of other issues behind the scene. Now, while Austin works in support services, we've got training, we've got vacations, we've got all of those things that come into play. When can we do without him, so to speak? Now, we're not pulling somebody off the road. This is support services. But all of that has to do with timing, plus the fact that Mr. Magnus's time, being able to work with him. So I'm respectfully asking you to vote this through. Again, it's insurance money. It is not tax money. And if Mr. Hollingsworth chooses not to continue it, or if he wants to go a different direction, you've really not spent any tax dollars in doing so. So again, I respectfully ask for a positive vote.
Do we have a timeline as far as getting another pilot trained, or?
They estimate 6 to 8 weeks. And I talked to, again, I mentioned Philip Miller just because he is an instructor. He didn't think it'd take that long. But again, we're trying to be.
I mean, is Mr. Magnus, is he headed to Florida in 8 weeks, or is there a certain timeline, or can we like table it and get all these questions answered, like insurance and whatnot, or is it? Do we need to do it? Do we make it work tonight, or do we kill it tonight, or do we table it and get some questions answered?
In my opinion, and respectfully, I'm asking you to either vote it up or vote it down, because we are out of time trying to get Austin and get him trained, number one. And number two, we got a lot more on our plate. This is just one of several things that we're working on. And so, again, we're not putting any tax dollars at risk here. And I say that because to me it's important. This community has trusted me for almost 22 years. I would not do anything to hurt the sheriff's office or hurt this county. And I'm going to say one more time, in my opinion, the most two highly qualified people to work on this issue is Benny Magnus and myself. And so just like I mentioned before, I'm coming to you with your expertise in heavy equipment, and you for your expertise in kind. I'm asking you to trust our expertise in a solution to this problem.
All right, let's move forward.
I'm still having difficulty with the low-hour pilot.
Yeah. Let's move over here to this side of the court, okay? I think I heard somebody speak up over here. Eddie?
You know, I spoke to the sheriff a couple times about this, and I want to say, as most of y'all know, I'm in law enforcement and have been for 29 years and spent 20 years as a detective. I've flown with Benny a lot, and I can't remember one time we've ever requested the help of the helicopter and be turned down. I mean, it's been a great program. But with that said, I share a lot of the same concerns as others, as well as one thing I look at, you know, I guess maybe I look at it differently from the sheriff, and I have a huge amount of respect for him. He was actually my first FTO in 1997. But the fact that it's not tax dollars is irrelevant. That money still belongs to all the citizens of the county. It doesn't just belong to the sheriff's department or anything like that. It's everybody's money, whether it came from insurance or taxes. The other thing that I visited with the sheriff about was, you know, I don't know Austin. You know, in our business anymore, people come and go at times, and should he leave, he would have to pay that money back as stated in a contract, but it's not in a defined amount of time. So if he leaves a month in after he's qualified, after he becomes a pilot, he will owe $30,000, but it doesn't say he'll pay back $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month, or it could be $100 a month for 300 months. And I just don't think that's really good business for
And that
us.
was the question I was about to ask. What's the mechanism to collect?
Well, David could probably speak better to that to me, but there could be a judgment, but I assume that judgment would be whatever he could afford. But, you know, there's not an agreement in the contract unless something has been done differently I'm unaware of that would state that it would all be paid back in a specific amount of time. Now, me personally, I would, and granted, most of my life, I probably couldn't have come up with $30,000 to put myself through pilot school either. But I would much rather him put himself through pilot school and then we give him a significant raise, not only to pay back that $30,000 from here on out. That way, he's being compensated for what he's doing. You know, if he got an extra, however much, I don't care if it's $1,000 extra a month. Well, beyond that 30 months, he's recouped his investment, but it will go beyond that. I mean, I feel like that's a better way of doing business than paying for something that's significantly costly and hoping everything works out. So, you know, that I'm kind of with Dirk. That's the way I see it. But with that said, the Sheriff's Department's helicopter has helped my law enforcement agency many, many, many times and done a phenomenal job. As Sheriff-elect Hollingsworth stated, I've flown on that helicopter, and it's not like you see on TV. You're not up doing tours. You're down at treetop level, and I think Benny could speak to it far better than me, certainly, but if things go wrong, there's not much room for error.
So, Eddie, you guys have a pretty impressive drone.
Well, I think the sheriff's getting a great drone.
I'm guessing it's going to be along the same. So, just for a public record, what does this helicopter do that a drone cannot, other than land and get out and arrest somebody?
Well, I mean, like I've flown with Benny when he gets down at treetop level and can actually move where you can see the ground and works. I know he flies a lot, helping the if there's an escapee, you know, with the Stephen Lively was over the prison dogs, and it does stuff that a drone can't, that he can speak to far better than me, but that doesn't change the fact that when he's doing that, there's not much room
I don't
for
want to
error.
keep getting up, but I want to answer that question. But a drone is a great tool. I've worked with drones. I like to work with drones as long as the drone operator works with me in the helicopter, because Mountain Home PD worked us a pursuit here a while back, and a guy got out and ran. He's a perfect drone operator. I let him do 100 foot below. I did above 200 foot. It was perfect. We communicated. He told me when he was on the ground, when he wasn't on the ground. As long as I have a drone operator that will work with me, I'll be there. If not, I'll leave, because I'm not going to not have communication with the drone operator and let him. But I was talking to Lieutenant Lively that we have, and this community has relied on constantly over years to find kids, lost people, fugitives. I mean, there's nobody any better in the state. And I can tell you right now, like he told me a while ago, just tell them one thing. A drone is not a helicopter. And a helicopter changes that chase from a 10-mile chase to a 3-mile chase. Because number one, you can run out of the reception of a drone. But you don't run out of reception on the helicopter. You do if you run out of fuel, and I've been there. Well, I can tell you right now that a helicopter keeps them down because of the noise. A drone's quiet. That serves their purpose. A lot of the state police got a drone. They do it a lot on special operations because they want to be quiet. But they also got a helicopter, and they do a great job anymore, a real good job.
Thank you.
And
Thank
so,
you. Any other questions or comments from this side of the court?
Well, the only thing that I got to say is the alternative is give it up. Now, are we willing to give the program up?
Is that guaranteed?
That's what you got. I mean, if we don't finance it and do it,
Is that
we lose the
guaranteed that
program.
it's going to be
Correct?
given up?
Do what?
Is it guaranteed that it's going to go away? What's the timeline on that?
That's why I was listening to Sheriff Montgomery. I mean, if we're willing to give it up, then you vote it out. If you're not willing to give it up, you vote for it.
Well, it's budgeted through this year, so it'll be in the budget for next year.
Right.
Sheriff, when we start the budget
And
process.
then he can,
Okay. Any other questions or comments before we take a vote? Russ, I've been waiting on you.
Well, as far as recruiting, I don't know where all you've looked for retired or ex-military, but Dirk and I both know, there's recruiting places that you can specifically target military members or ex-military members getting out. Question is, how much can you afford to pay if you were going to hire a full-time pilot? You could probably find someone that is either ex-military, qualified helicopter pilots, retired, disabled veteran, whatever. But what can you afford to pay for? That's the question.
Thank you, Russ.
Tyler, have you heard of anybody in your realm of the airport area Taylor, I'm sorry, that might be interested in something like that? I mean, Austin, I've known him since he was a little boy. I have no qualms, but I'm just trying to get everybody to understand this whole idea, but
Yeah, so most of my pilots are fixed wing. So rotorcraft is,
Not for bad.
I may have 2 a month that come in, but a majority that I see are from the military that come in. So, I could ask around and try to find some. I know of some retired medevac people that are now flying fixed wing, but they did used to fly the helicopters. I could, see if they're interested. It's just a matter of what do you guys want? Do you want me to proceed with that? Do the sheriff and Benny want me to help out or whatever? I'm willing to help. It's just need to know.
okay, thank you. I'm just trying to get this was kind of thrown pretty quick.
It's rushed, right?
I feel rushed.
Me too.
And if we're not in a hurry, if we're not going to lose the program, can it wait another month? So we can ask more questions, do some more digging, see if you find anybody, see if you know anybody. We all know people. We all know lots of people. I don't want to lose the project. Absolutely. That would be foolish. I personally think a drone, if you look at other cities, they're all going drones. Drones are getting to be more and more and more popular because they can get down and dirty. They can feel the heat. And I know, Benny, you've done a fabulous job of everything for all these years, but I know they're probably going to fade them out because it is an expense. It's an expensive project. But at this point, I think we still need to keep it. But I feel a little rushed, personally.
I feel like if the solution was to send Austin to that school, it doesn't have to be now. If that was the answer, if that's the way Sheriff-elect Hollingsworth wanted to go, it's not, I don't see that it's a decision that has to be now. And I understand they could come and pick up their helicopter if they wanted it, but, Mountain Home Police Department has dealt with that program some, and normally it's not like they're saying, hey, you're not using it today, I'm on my way tomorrow. The federal government doesn't normally work that way. So I don't know, I just, hearing Sheriff-elect Hollingsworth speak, I felt it was pretty clear that he's not going to put anybody in the air until he is comfortable that it's safe, no matter what the helicopter, who the person is. And, I don't want to do something just for 6 months. But, I think it's
Judge,
pretty
I'd
apparent
like-
how I look at it.
I'd like to make a motion then in that case. We table this until January 1st or the January Quorum Court meeting to give this court time to consider it, to give the sheriff-elect time to look, to give Mr. Magnus, Sheriff Montgomery, Taylor, if you're willing to help, time.
I'll second
Nobody
that.
loves airplanes and helicopters more than me, but I'm concerned with the liability and I'm concerned with the maintenance costs. And it's like Mr. Magnus was just talking, the helicopters operate down low to the ground. What's your reaction time down there? You're in that dead man's curve down there. operating, 100 feet off the ground at lower speeds, you don't have time. That's experience that you've built over 30 years of flying, not just rotorcraft, but fixed wing, and 3,000 hours of helicopter time. It takes time to learn that.
Okay. We have a motion to table this until.
Second.
Till January.
Till January? Got a second by Mr. Eddie. Clerk call roll.
Frank?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
House?
Yes.
McDonald?
Yes.
Nault?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Steiner?
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Davis?
No.
Edge?
Yes.
The motion to table passes with a vote of 10 to 1.
Next item, item number 4, sponsored by Mr. Eddie, is an ordinance to establish a recycling grant fund. Hang on. What day is it? Just don't read the emergency part. Yeah. We're ready to move on now.
I mean, I don't know.
And that's tax.
Okay, appropriation ordinance number 2026-blank, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Baxter County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to establish the recycling grant fund number 3515 and to appropriate $180,000 and to declare an emergency. That's irrelevant in my understanding. That's correct. You read the title correctly. The title is not an emergency ordinance. It's irrelevant because an appropriation ordinance is effective immediately on passage.
Heard the reading. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rick,
Second.
second by Mr. Dennis. Any questions?
The money's in there. The money.
Always just the money that was divvied up among several districts. And that money came from the solid waste district of $180,000. It's going to be used to buy a forklift, a couple transportation vans, a new baler, that type of stuff. But anyway, they're glad to get it.
Who seconded it?
We have
Rick and
a second by
Dennis.
Dennis.
Thank you.
Yes, you have a question?
What's the emergency?
There's not an emergency on this ordinance.
It
was-
says to declare an emergency on that ordinance.
I understand. It's an appropriation ordinance. There is no emergency.
Clerk call roll.
Griffin.
Yes.
House.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Nault.
Yes.
Payne.
Yes.
Steiner.
Yes.
Waldrop.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Edge. Yes. Frank.
Yes.
With a vote of 11 yea, 0 nay, appropriation ordinance number 2026-25 is adopted.
So just to clarify that for you, that's what we were speaking about up here a while ago. That was an ordinance, so it didn't need to be declared an emergency fund, but we went ahead and read it as it's written. So that's what was published. It didn't need to be on there. But anyway, we read it anyway. That's what we were speaking about up here. So with that, we move on to item number 5, sponsored by Ms. Mary Ann, is the ordinance to establish an annex building fund.
Appropriation ordinance number 2026-blank, be it ordained by the Quorum Court of Baxter County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to establish the Annex Building Fund number 4802 and to appropriate $5 million.
You've heard the reading. Do we have a motion?
Move to adopt.
Motion by Ms. Mary Ann,
Second.
second by Mr. Dennis. Any questions?
Is this for the building that we're going to build over here?
Yes, that's for the assessor collectors and voting center that we're going to build.
Don't kill the messenger. I had several calls for it, and you know it's coming and stuff, and they say, well, what I got, you know, is conservative county.
Yeah.
They were wondering where we come up with that figure. They said we can't afford to fix roads. We can't afford tornado sirens. I'm just going by what people tell me. That's why I'm just.
So-
And it started out at $4 million, so we're saying, and that was on the radio and everything else. They said, how did it get to $5 million? So that's why I'm asking the question.
So the voting center, when we started out, we was just to take you back in time, this started back in 23 when I was first elected. And we started talking about building assessor and collector's office to start with. And then as time went on, voter security was a concern throughout the country, not only here. We thought, well, we can build a voting center instead of going down to the Methodist church and voting, where we have our own facility, we carry the key to the door and that type of thing. So that added some money to this whole project. We've been working on it since 2023. Just so you know that, yeah, it will be paid for when it's built. I mean, we have the money in the bank to build it. The money is in the bank to provide citizens a service, and that's what this is, a service. Also, something that I'm kind of proud of that I've done with the treasurer since I've been here since 23. We invested some money that we had in the bank. There's $1.8 million in interest that we've earned since I've been county judge that will go towards this building without touching the principal. And then the sale of this building over here will bring approximately, I'm saying $750 to $8. It praises for about $675. So to pay for over half of this new building, to move over here to a new building that we're proud of, cheap utilities. We don't have to work on a plumbing every week or every month. We have safe parking, and we have people wanting this building on the south side of the square, so it will sell rather quick. But anyway, bottom line is tax dollars, citizens' money they pay and give us are to provide them a service, and that's what this is. So,
Well, I tell them we need a building.
keep in mind, Bob, and you know this too, road funding is completely different than general fund funding. Okay? Road funding comes from state turnback, millages, things like that. It's a budget that we are given with, and as it increases time, we spend every dime of it. Janae can probably explain it better than I can. But the general fund does not fund our road and bridge department. It funds building and grounds, funds juvenile services, that type of thing.
But there will not be a tax to pay for this.
There will not be a tax. We have the money in the
That's all I've
bank to
heard all
build
day.
this. Yep, we have the money in the bank to build this, and I
Okay.
think as a county, knowing what I see with the other 74 counties in this state, we should be proud of that we have the money to provide this kind of facility for our people.
I feel better now.
Now, do we have plans for this building, or is it?
We're working on it. We pretty well have the interior design done for most of it. We have a meeting tomorrow that we're going to start working on the outside of the structure of how we want it to be finished. So.
And will there be overages? Are we going to have to ask for more money? We're going to stick to the 5 million, not going to have to come back and
That's
go,
what I was
oh,
told.
we need another million.
Well, I hope
Or-
so.
Okay.
When I started this dream, it was 3.5 to 4.
Yeah,
But
well,
anyway,
everything goes up.
When Candy got involved and we added this big voting center, price
Want a
one.
bougie
So,
massage chair.
but
Yeah.
I think it's something that we deserve to give to our people and to go vote in instead of going to a church and voting too. So. Any other questions?
As much as we appreciate the Methodists for allowing us to come.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, we do.
And
Definitely.
we'll have something we'll be proud of for sure. Any other questions? Clerk, call roll.
House,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Nault,
No.
Payne,
No.
Steiner,
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Edge?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
With a vote of 9 yeas, 2 nay, appropriation ordinance number 2026-26 is adopted.
Item number 6, sponsored by Ms. Marion, is a resolution expressing support for the application for automated records.
Resolution number 2026-blank, a resolution expressing support for the application for an automated record system grant by the Baxter County and Circuit Clerk as the ex officio recorder. Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of the County of Baxter, State of Arkansas, that whereas Baxter County is a Class 4 county in the state of Arkansas and is therefore eligible to apply for a grant from the Automated Record Systems Fund managed by the Association of Arkansas Counties and administered by the Automated Record Systems Fund Committee. And whereas the current land records management system used by the Baxter County and Circuit Clerk's Office is inadequate for the long-term preservation, security, and accessibility of county land records. And whereas the Baxter County and Circuit Clerk's Office has a statutory duty to permanently maintain the county's land records. And whereas the Baxter County and Circuit Clerk is applying for an automated record systems grant to be used to offset the cost of a new land records management system, which will ultimately result in the preservation of Baxter County's records for generations to come. And whereas this project will help secure continuity of operations and permanent accessibility to the land records of Baxter County. And whereas the Baxter County Quorum Court recognizes the necessity of replacing the system to ensure compliance with statutory record-keeping obligations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Baxter County Quorum Court expresses full support for the county recorder's application for an automated record systems grant. We resolve that any approved grant funds will be credited to a fund created on the books of the county treasurer to be known as the Automated Record Systems Grant Fund. This court further resolves that the funds will be expended in compliance with the grant application and will be used during the time frame allowed, and that certification of completion will be filed in a timely manner by the county judge and the county and circuit clerk and recorder.
Further reading of the motion.
Motion to move.
Motion by Ms. Lisa, second by Ms. Marianne. Any questions? Clerk call roll.
McDonald?
Yes.
Nault?
Yes.
Payne?
Yes.
Steiner?
Yes.
Waldrop?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Edge?
Yes.
Frank?
Yes.
Griffin?
Yes.
House?
Yes.
With a vote of 11 yea, 0 nay, resolution number 2026-11 is adopted. Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
Very much.
Get your bougie chair.
That concludes our agenda. We have an announcement by the sheriff. He wants to make a presentation. Come on up.
Thank you. Corporal Stanton, would you please come up? So it's my honor to present, there's actually 2 awards. This is Corporal Hunter Stanton. On March 30th of this year, Corporal Stanton responded, along with other deputies, to 75 Bay Hill Place in reference to a gunshot victim. The victim had been shot in the stomach. Corporal Stanton got retrieved medical supplies from his vehicle and was able to stop the bleeding long enough for the ambulance to get there, and the victim ultimately survived. And so for that, I want to say thank you. Here is a Life Savings Award.
Wow.
The second one, unfortunately, Sergeant Craig Coker is not here. He's on military leave. I want to present this, and I'll give it to you personally, but I want you to hear it. On May 5th of this year, Sergeant Craig Coker responded to a house fire on Highway 5 South. Upon his arrival, he was informed there was an elderly female trapped inside the residence. Sergeant Coker went to the bedroom window and was able to gain entry. The room was already filled with smoke. He was able to feel around the floor, locate her, and pull her out the window before the house erupted, fully engulfed in flames. due to his heroic actions, she was saved in Sri Lanka. So, Sergeant Greg Hogan, all the way back to
And last, we have a list of items here that's going to be disposed of by the sheriff's office, and if anybody wants to read through it, it'll be posted in Canada's office. Yes.
I just want to make a brief announcement that the Casey House has finished its completion of what you all set aside for the money to help restore on the Casey House. It is your house, and I'll tell you what, it looks beautiful from the road and on the inside also. We are now in a campaign to raise $15,000 for the back porch, and we have a campaign called All Aboard to raise $15,000. And so you have a sheet on your desk about that, and we are grateful for the community that is actually stepping forward, and the funds are being supported and coming in. If anyone has any questions, we are trying at our utmost to show our good Southern hospitality of things taking place here. And so if you have any questions on that, we will address those. Yes, Mary Ann.
I just want to say I would like to buy a board and remind people that this is a county-owned building. And the grant, we didn't get as much as we wanted. And as a citizen of the county, I want to step forward and buy a board.
And the Historical Society has gone on the inside and start pulling off the modern wallpaper and restoring it back to its original wall covering this week. And so by this Baxter County Fair, everything should look in pretty good shape.
Thank you, Vincent. Yes, sir. Come up and state your name, please.
My name is Richard Blevins. I'm the superintendent at North Fork School District. I'm glad we're talking about safety tonight because I've got a safety issue on the Hopewell Road, Hollow Road down there. I really would like to have some help on from y'all. I've got a bus that goes down that thing every day and comes back every day. I'd invite any of you to ride that bus road with me. It's too narrow. It's not when there's going to be a wreck on it, not if it's going to be a wreck, it's going to be when. You've got access roads coming off of it. You can't see till you get full out on the road. You really, in the eastern half of it, you cannot meet a bus and a car at the same time. One of them has to pull off or stop or back up.
We have many roads in Baxter County like that.
Yes.
Many. But this court has no jurisdiction over county roads, and I'll stop you there. If you want to come see me, my door is open 8 hours a day. Come see me anytime. You can walk in. You can make an appointment. Come see me. We'll talk about roads. The court has no jurisdiction
I'd
over
love
county
to come
roads.
talk to
Thank
you about it.
Any other questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Dirk, second by Ms. Mary Ann. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned.